So this is very interesting. First of all, I do actually do a little disclaimer. I like to do a little waiver that says, this is not a substitute for medical care. This is not a substitute for psychological care. And the work that we're going to do here, that we're going to share about, is complementary to all modalities, to all allopathic, complementary, alternative, different modalities. This is complementary to it. It is not a medical substitute. And I have to say that. Because we can dive into some really interesting things when we talk about rewriting our story. When we talk about the fact that none of us were born with these, like, we talk about, well, I shouldn't say none of us, most of us. How many people feel like, have you ever had a moment where you, with your parents, especially, where you say something and you're like, that sounded just like my mother? I love my mother. You do too? I love my mother, but I'm like, that wasn't, like I hear it on the outside, I'm like, that's not me. How many limiting beliefs do you think that we have that maybe didn't start with us? So this is what we're going to work on today. We're going to look at, we talked a little bit earlier about how the snowball can roll downhill. If you were here earlier, we talked a little bit about how we don't handle things that are going on in the system, in the body. They don't often course correct on their own. So a little bit about my journey. I shared a little bit earlier about my mom. I grew up knowing that the body can heal itself. I had a great foundation, a great start to life with regards to health and nutrition, and learning that with clean food, with clean water makes my body strong. And growing up, I was probably one of my only friends in our neighborhood that knew that. We definitely the weird family. And grew up vegetarian. I actually passed up bakery when my friends would go for ice cream. I'm like, oh, I'm not supposed to be dairy. And they're like, what? I think I was like 14. So I had that foundation, but it wasn't until my first son was born that my trauma was triggered. And so I knew that, I now have words to say that we don't lose our health. Everything is reclaimed. I knew that I could heal, but I didn't know how. So what do you do when you're in a hole and you feel that you have to shovel, that things are going to be hurt? What do? I knew I had to find resources, I knew I had to find answers. And so that led me to the work that I do today. My work is Ancestral Clearing. I'm a holistic practitioner. I have multiple modalities that I work with. This is the one I've shared with you today. It's one that we mentioned this morning that can help with the possible spiritual roots and physical, emotional issues, unresolved stuff from early in life. Maybe from even the root. What if, like, when we're in utero and we hear stress between mom and dad, what if that could create an imprint on us or create a belief even before we're born? And I say what if because who am I to say what is a definite fact? The physics of it says that an object in motion will continue to be in motion until any four opposite forces exert on it. So this is that snowball that I'm talking about. What if limiting beliefs that we hear early in life, we're told that, well, maybe we're praised for what we do, not who we are. That we have to think we have to keep doing and producing in order to receive love. Maybe we feel like we have to earn or learn our way into value in the family system. And now we're out there externally seeking validation from the world through jobs, through relationships, through whatever it needs to feel whole. And I can tell you from personal experience, there's not enough out there to feel what's in here. It doesn't work that way. From my point of view, when we course correct internally, all this shifts out here. When we shift that around. So the good news to that is it puts us back in the driver's seat. When we're back in the driver's seat of our own lives. But it also puts responsibility onto us, which was really hard for me to realize. Okay, so if I'm the common denominator of all my experiences, and maybe I'm experiencing things that are not pleasant, is it my fault? And through this work, this is the first time I ever heard that, hey, it's actually not my fault. It could be that mom or grandma or great-grandma or great-great-grandma has an issue with, let's say, men. Maybe they felt disempowered by men. Maybe by women. Not picking on men. How am I going to get to the root of my issue if my issue isn't even my issue if it didn't start with me? I always thought we had a clean slate. What if we don't? Okay, so before we dive into that. So the study of epigenetics is showing how unresolved issues can be passed down from generation to generation in the of generation. There's a study that I linked to on my website that talks about, now first of all, I am not for animal testing at all in any way. However, the study was done and it showed that mice, when they were given the influence of a certain fragrance, with a very specific chemical compound, it's all linked on there, and then administered a small shock. So they smell it, the limbic system of the brain processes scent and memory. That's why when you're in the grocery store and you smell someone's perfume and you're thinking of grandma's baked cookies or something, this emotional flood can come over us in that specific example. It's like, oh, grandma was so nice and we used to bake cookies together, and that smells, that's triggering the chemical response in the brain that's remembering that experience. So these mice were administered a shock every time they smelled a smell. Then they were allowed to breathe. What do you think happened to generation 2 when they administered that smell? They did not administer a shock to these small, beautiful creatures that we shouldn't be doing this to. That the mouse had the startle reflex even though there was no external stimuli hurting them. They had a shock reflex, which was expected. Why else did they do this test? I don't know if they expected it to continue on, but it did. Generation 3 also had the same experience. So the grandchildren of these mice who experienced trauma every time they smelled a certain smell, now their grandchildren are smelling that smell and having a trauma response even though there's no trauma. There's no saber-toothed tiger in here. But most of us are walking around heightened fight or flight systems that are completely off the whole time. We are designed, we was talking about that this morning, we're designed to be in fight or flight to get us out of trauma, out of a dangerous experience, to run. But then, what's supposed to happen is we go back into rest and digest. And then we can get to sleep better. We have better quality sleep. We wake up feeling rested. We digest, we eliminate. All these systems are working. These systems are pretty core. The body is very intelligent, but it'll throw all the blood flow to the limbs in a fight or flight response. So if the majority of people out there are in fight or flight constantly, we're all responding to a trauma response that might not actually be even happening in our reality. So what do we do that? Okay, we're getting to that. Okay, so my question to you today is, what if unresolved stresses of the past, or the filters that you see life through every day, and for those of you who were here this morning, this is in line with what we showed you. She had something standing up over here that showed people who see things through the filter of peace and calm and had a solid foundation while the nervous system was being developed. The first 10 years of life felt, safe and rooted and loved and seen and heard. I mean, that's not a whole lot of us that maybe had that. I feel like our parents did that. This is not picking on parents here, by the way, at all. I feel like our parents did the best they could to not my parents. I can talk about my parents. Did the best they could to not pass down what they had experienced. And so my goal is to clean it up for myself so my kids don't continue on with that responsibility. So if we could clean the filters of the way we see life, how do we do that? What if physical and emotional issues, pains in the body, are interchangeable? We know that stress can cause physical, like mental stress or emotional stress, can cause physical ailment in the body. I think it's one of the top issues that we're dealing with right now. We've probably been dealing with it for a long time, but especially right now, stress is a big problem. What if physical issues cause emotional stresses in life? If somebody has a physical issue, and it's just like, I can't run with my grandchildren, I can't go to work, these limitations. So it's not new information that the body is designed like a map. We are very intelligently designed. And so different parts of the body can explain connections to different emotional issues within the systems. So what we do with this work, this is an invitation. We get back into the body and we notice what doesn't feel good. And we notice from this moment, and it sounds so simple, but I promise you it is not easy. At times, If the body wasn't a safe place to be, especially growing up, it was very common to detach or to escape to the mind. If the body wasn't a safe place to be, if the body was in pain, we would revert and escape to the mind or kind of pull out. So the invitation is to get back into our bodies and notice what is in you. And okay, this is going to get really interesting. So I'm going to show you some techniques that I give to clients to help with these very things that we're talking about. To get the help with ancestral clearing is to want it, and that's free will. So we're going to do a little exercise for those of you who want to participate. And if you don't want to participate, you can set that intention just like, I'm good, I'm just going to sit back and watch and see what you feel about. Because that's what I did. I was like, I've been in a lot of rooms. This is like way out there, but I'm curious, so I'm not going to sit in the back of the room and feel on. Sure, okay, what have you got going on? And that's totally fine, I encourage that. We're going to do some interactions, we're going to do some group sessions, and we're going to do some Q&A. It's a lot. You can work fast. So for those of you who want to play, you can send an intention to participate. If you do not, if you just want to sit this one out and take a look and see what's going on, send an intention in your heart. I don't need to know. Okay? I don't need to know because this is about my favorite. We are going to work in a very specific way. Do you ever feel like you wish that life had a rule book? Like my parents used to say, you didn't come with a manual. We don't really know what we're doing. And I was like, what? You are the people that are supposed to know what you're doing. I don't know what I'm doing. I need you to know what you're doing. We're going to work in a very specific way. Let's call it a recipe. We're going to rewrite our story. So our first go around might not have been great. Our old roots in the body might be from issues that happened early in life. Okay? And our old roots in the body can lead to limiting beliefs. I have more that's written down, but I think if it's okay with you, we're just going to dive in and have an experience because it is kind of like talking about the menu or eating a meal. So for those of you who are here to participate, you can set that intention. What I would invite you to do, if you choose, while we're sitting down, you don't have to close your eyes. You can if you want. This is for you. And you're just going to get a sense of something in your life. You can pick the biggest issue in your life or the most recent, something prevalent, something you would like help with. Kind of go for the biggest one. I usually pick the biggest one. Like, let's just get to that and then everything else is kind of, most things are connected. And I'm going to invite you to get a sense of that issue. Is it a tough boss at work? Is it a challenging relationship in the home? Is it a thought pattern that keeps repeating in your mind over and over again? Like, this isn't me. Why am I putting myself down? Why am I thinking these things? How come nothing is ever good enough for me? How come I'm never enough? Whatever that's, we'll get to the statements in a minute, but whatever your limiting pattern is that's funny for you, you can consider that. It could be a physical issue. Remember, he said this is not replacement for medical treatment. You have pain in your knee, or your shoulder, or in your gut, or your back. You have pain in the body, you get headaches. We're going to talk about what is right now. And when you consider these issues, physical or emotional, when you really think about them and consider them, the invitation is to drop into the body and get a sense of where you feel that in the body. Notice where you feel it in the body. It could be anywhere. It could be, I notice a swelling sensation in the stomach. We're going to stay away from judgment words as well, so I'm going to guide you through this too. We're not going to use the word pain at this point anymore because pain is something we don't want and we can push against it. And kind of like, I would never refer to children because of pain, but kind of like if you had a small child or a toddler that was like trying to get your attention, and you're like, mom, 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 mom. Ignoring the person doesn't make that go away, right? So get louder, and louder, and louder, and louder until it's like, what the hell? Wow, I told you guys you're hungry, you need something. I'm so sorry. How can I help you? What do you need? What are you here to say? What are you going to teach? So we're paying attention to things in the body that don't feel good when we consider our issue. Now you're going to get a number between 1 and 10. Wow. When I think about that jerk at work, my shoulder gets really tight. It's about a 7 out of 10 right now. We're going to go with the present moment. Everyone who's playing, if you have a number, does everyone who's participating have a number higher than 4? If you don't, let me know. What's your number? Yours, okay, lower than, does anyone have one lower than 4? Yours is lower than 4? What's your number? Yours is 3? Okay. Can I ask you where you notice in the body? Trapezius, right shoulder? Okay. Yeah. Okay. So, when we work with one person, we're working with the whole group of people that want to participate, including people watching live, including people who watch this in the replay. So you can come back and watch this again with a different issue and help. Can we kind of work with you? Okay. So without telling me your issue, if you close your eyes and notice your body, tell me in this new now moment where you feel it in the body. Okay. So describe, so anxiety is also a judgment word. It's okay. Would you say like swirling, rolling sensation in the stomach? Okay. Tightness in the stomach. Okay. What's your number between 1 and 10? Okay. So this issue, without telling me what it is it okay if this goes on for another 20 years? No. Where do you think no? Yeah. And that's higher than 4? Close your eyes and notice your body. We're working the whole time. I'm going to share some of this out loud so you know what's going on. How do they ever know this is history? But I can share my side of the work out loud. I'm going to do some work silently and out loud. For those of you participating, notice sensation in the body while I'm offering some clearings, prayers, whatever your word is for that one moment. Okay. So you're going to notice sensation in that same area, big or smaller or different. And then I'm going to ask a few people who want to speak up and say, I went from this to this. Who noticed a shift in the 15 seconds so far? What's your number now? 1. Okay. Do it for 7 to 1. Okay. How about your overall whole body sensation a minute ago where you said that it was like the anxiety, the swelling, and stuff? What's that now? So the mind isn't our friend until it is. And the reason we do this in a very specific way is we often won't remember what we don't have anymore because we're literally shifting to a paradigm where there isn't a charge to the issue. Who's had an experience where they've gone to a family gathering and someone's triggered them? Someone in your family or close friends has said something and it's just like, yeah, you can feel a physical response from this. What we're doing in this work is we're clearing the charge that we have to the external, because when we get that it didn't start with us and that this pattern is showing itself over and over and over again, in order to show us what we have to resolve. Show us what we're carrying. I don't want to call it a gift, because often it's unpleasant and we don't feel crummy. And sometimes it doesn't feel good to feel what is going on in the body. You're literally wired to move towards things that feel good and away from things that don't. Our primitive part of our brain is designed to, that's hot, stay away from it. That hurts, stay away from it. And somehow in the cross-wiring over the generations of things that have happened is, if we're so intelligently designed, this was always my question, surely I can handle the stresses that are coming at me. My body should be able to process that and resolve it. And then there's another stress. I can close my eyes, I can breathe through it, I can call on for help from the Creator, I can presence through it, I can release it, And then I get another stress, and I repeat. It's like rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat. How many wars have we had on this planet in the last couple hundred years? I mean, I couldn't even answer that. We were doing school history, and I was like, oh, here we go again, another era. What do you think's going to happen? And it's like, yeah, they're all just fighting. They're going to kill each other, and then they're going to make a new country, and then that's going to break out, and then they're going to do it again. So when you look at the lineage of things, too, my ancestry is English and German. I should not. Did those two countries ever have issues with each other? Like, what if we literally had warring DNA in our bodies? I love you, Mom, so much. Like, it was, Christmas dinner was really interesting because you had these two families that were taught to hate each other, these two countries. And it was like a long line of English and a long line of German. And literally programmed within the system is to not get along. So as a small child, sitting at dinner time, when both families were over, everybody was smiling around me, but it felt really tense. So what did I make that mean? Something's not right. I was really little. I couldn't make them wrong, because what happens is if I make, this is not a conscious choice either, it seems to be how the nervous system is wired. If I make my parents wrong, something's wrong with them, that could literally affect me on the survival level. So instead, the spin was something's wrong with me. And so carrying the record that was playing in the background, you know records, right? Like I can say records, we're not tracks and records. I don't even know how to modernize that. Carrying the record that's playing in the background of something's wrong with me, I'm not enough, why don't they love me? Playing subconsciously in the background the entire time of my life. These were the patterns and the filters that I was seeing my life through. So I became a frequency match to life will answer the questions that we ask, just does. And so I became a frequency match to what's wrong with me? Why am I not enough? Life started showing me why I'm not enough. Time after time after time. And I think I do feel very, very grateful to have recognized, I just dated all these guys, not all these guys, over a long time, certain relationships. It was the same guy, just with a different face, over and over again. And I'm like, the experience was the same, the person was different. This guy's a jerk, I'm sorry, but this is just my experience. My husband's a jerk. But the guy was just like, teens, 20s kind of thing. Made me feel like I wasn't enough. Well, guess what? They didn't make me feel anything. It was just the physics of what I was carrying moving on. So that's something I want to work on. Also, when we interact with one person, we're offering clearings for everybody. We're offering the prayers for everybody. So sometimes when I do group events, I have people that are like, I don't want to be selfish. I don't want to put my hand out. But really it is a gift. Not even seizing loss of part any part of this. Also the heat, shakiness, and feel different sensations in their bodies and stuff. So interacting individually is an option if you want, because when you offer to one person, you're offering to the group, so it's a gift, it's what you're paying. Who wants to see a little bit more on the front end of what we're doing here? Would you like me to offer a group clearing out loud? So you can get a sense of what it is? Everything? Okay. Alright, let's do that. So for everybody who wants to participate, go ahead and close your eyes and notice your body. Get a sense of either, you choose. Same issue you brought in earlier, if it didn't resolve to a 3 or 2 or less. Or you can think of something else. And when you consider this issue, where do you notice it in your body? Swirling, heat, pressure, tension, sometimes a stabbing sensation. We're going to use as neutral terms as possible to allow the system to go there. So everyone get your 1 to 10 levels of sensation. And I'm going to offer this out loud. And what I invite you to do is to, whatever word that I use for that which created us, that's personal to me. You may have to use several so that we can include as many as possible. But I invite you to my personal belief system is that God doesn't have ego. If I misspell or mispronounce his name, he's going to be okay. And he's going to be okay with that. Choose what's right for you. And again, if this isn't for you, that's okay. You just want to sit it out. Do this in Here we go. Say, God, creator, source, all that you truly are. Not just what they told us that you are, but all that you truly are. That which created everything that ever is, was, and ever will be. We humbly and gratefully ask that you please help everyone here that wants your help right now. Everybody watching live and on the replay. Everyone that's wanting to participate in this. For all hurts and wrongs around their specific issues that they bring in right now. Your specific issue that you're bringing in right now. Everything that led up to this, everything that resulted from it, everything that happened and everything you made it mean about life, love, parents, children, the world, even about you, God. For all hurts and wrongs, anything else that led up to these experiences, resulted from them, and all similar frequencies and experiences throughout all time. Please help everyone involved to forgive and release each other, forgive and release themselves, be at peace with each other and at peace with themselves, love and bless each other, love and bless themselves, from the highest good of account, forever pleasing and thank you. Help all your mothers and grandmothers do the same. Help your fathers and grandfathers do the same. In fact, please help everyone in the lineage as far back as we need to get to the root of this. And as far forward, please make it. Help us all to see ourselves, each other, and all of creation through your eyes. God, creator, source, all we can truly are. Please make it. So for those of you participating, take a moment to notice the body, notice sensation in the body. And you're just going to check in, bigger, smaller, or different. Pick one, bigger, smaller, or different. We notice the shift from that. I'm going to ask for those of you who want to speak up to say I was at a 7 out of 2 or whatever it is for you, because when we do that, it can raise the frequency for everybody. It's not gratitude to me, it's gratitude to that, which is actually important. Yes? From 8 to 3, 4? Okay. Cross. Yes. Okay. Usually if we get to one or two, we can continue its way out. On its own. Plus. We can be private in this. I'm very personally, I'm very private about my connection to source. It can also feel like sometimes we can feel guarded. I did a group session in my hometown, actually, in Vancouver Island, Canada. And we had a very nice living room, full of people, and a lot of people were getting help based on what I could feel in the body and what they were getting feedback on. And there was one person that was attending that wasn't getting help. And I was kind of new to that. Obviously, my heart isn't helping people. I was like, remembering all my training and doing all my different techniques and surrendering to the Creator. And finally, the thought that came into my head was, ask her if she wants help with this. I was like, no, surely not, she's here. And I said her name, and I said, do you want help with this issue? And she said, no. I don't know who I'm going to be without this. I think it would destroy me. And First of all, I thanked her for her honesty. Because that's pretty brave to like, I mean, we're in a small room, it's fine. But that just goes to show that we are sovereign, we have free will, and that there are universal laws that govern our role that are higher than, laws of man. Women. Who has something they want to work on? Who has a pain in the body they want some help with? We're going to offer it for everyone that wants to do this. No one's got pain? It's cool. Yes, ma'am. Okay. Upper or lower jaw. Okay, so 2 teeth removed from the lower jaw. How recent? Goodness. Yeah, that's painful. I had one removed and I didn't expect. I didn't expect that. Okay. When did you first notice that she was removed? Okay, alright. Close your eyes and notice your body, notice sensation in the jaw. Is it the very back too? Okay. Yeah, on the right lower? Okay. Yeah, so go ahead and notice sensation in the body. Notice sensation in that specific area. It's probably pretty localized. What's your 0 to 10 number of sensation? Isn't that amazing? I didn't really. I'm offering on your behalf. I'm holding a mirror up so that when you shine the light of awareness, shadow elaborates. So you and the Creator, the work. This is the invitation. And we all have a right to it. We all have access. And we can all learn how to do this. If you feel something that you want to learn how to do. I went to a session, I got help, I said, how do I learn how to do this? I became a practitioner. What's your 0 to 10 right now? 0, okay. Yeah. Yes. Yes. Is that powerful? Yes. Yeah, it's simple. We literally have the keys to the kingdom of that. Does anyone else have jaw pain? Who else has jaw pain? Shoulder pain? Shoulder tension? On the right. Okay. You're right in line with her too. So it's in the same line. Yeah, let's do 0 to 10 on the shoulder pain. You. 9. Okay. So it runs all the way up to the side of the head? Okay. So typically, so what's it right now? Okay. Can you sit with your legs like fast? Can you sit comfortably with your legs? Wow. Okay. So tailbone too? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. What's the 0 to 10 overall? It's no. Right now. Not typically. That's okay. Yeah, it hurts in the present moment, so we want to escape the past or future. Okay, so you're the 9. So close your eyes and notice this. Ooh, okay. So I'm going to do this silently. I'm going to work silently, offering clearings around what those parts of the body represent emotionally. I'm going to infer, I'm going to infer everything that led up to and resulted from it, and in all the family life and lineage, everything that. Rotator or trapezius? Okay, yeah. So for all the times you were technically good for misunderstood, especially by men, but women who were more like male-dominated, male roles in their lives. For everything that led up to and resulted from these experiences, please help. This is for you and for everyone who wants to benefit from it that's watching. Please help everyone involved. Forgive and release each other. Forgive and release yourself. Peace with each other and peace with yourself. Love and bless each other. Love and bless yourself. The highest peace of me. It's okay if you're not tracking all the words. They're being offered. I'm speaking fast so that we can see if we're moving in the right direction. Big or small or different. So you were at a 9. What's your 0 to 10 now? 5. Okay. Okay, so 15 seconds and we went from a 9 to a 5. 5. Okay, I'm not going to dance. It's not like you're fine. So it's going to be so serious. Okay, no. Okay. I'm not. Right. Yeah. Are you open to letting me know if you're there if you want? Yeah. Okay. Yes. Yes. So, okay. Right. Great. Okay. So pause. So 8 years ago, get a sense of what was going on that was stressful before you close your eyes and notice your body. Yeah. This is great. When you lift, when the pot has been across your legs, please. When the pot has been boiling on the stove for I don't know how many generations, and each generation comes along and has to pull the lid on tightly. And you take the lid off. The steam can rise. It's moisture that you can keep. It's a blessing. Grace, I don't know if we have comments. But she's a miracle. No, because no, there's a reason for this. Because when the body, how does the body detox? We're looking on the side here right now. When we detox, when you release old hurts from the cells, because cells have memory, they can come out through all the various channels, including the nose and the eyes, and you just don't want to see them back into your tape. So I forgot to get you some apologies, but we're going to want to have you blow that out here. So get a sense of 8 years ago, all that was happening around that nose sensation in the body. Where do you feel it? Thank you. Yeah, okay, not yet, good. Breathe normally into all the sensation of your body. Notice the first thing that comes to you, don't share what it is. Let me know when you got it. Got it? Approximately how old are you in that image and memory? 5. Do you notice what's stressful about that experience for you? Yeah. Without sharing what that experience is, in the stressful part of that experience, all we need is what you're saying to yourself. What are you saying to yourself right there? As you spirit, what are you saying to yourself? 3 slow breaths. You're going to take 3 slow breaths into that. I'm scared. Why is this happening? Slowest breaths you can take. Recording this now. The sensation in the body, bigger, smaller, different. Small, okay. Release, lighter. Okay, so what were you looking for? Hopefully 9 or 10. Okay, 3. Yeah. You went from a 9 to a 3. So now we're going to check back in, and you brought that in for all of us. Okay. So close your eyes and notice your body, and check back in with that original experience 8 years ago. Consider what went on. What's the 1 to 10 level of sensation that's left in the body? Okay, so that's interesting. Talk about the current pain. Yeah, which is your antenna pain in the shoulder right now. 3. Yeah, okay, so close your eyes and notice the 3. How would you describe the sensation? Pressure, tension, pulling, twisting? Okay, and where do you notice that? Yeah, you layer. Okay, so for all the times you felt you have to protect your heart and everything, remember that was a result of those things. Sometimes you need to feel supported, times you wanted to just kind of hide and protect everything that led up to those experiences resulted from them. For all your family, for all your life, and all your lineage, please help everyone involved. God, creator, source, all contributor, God, please help everyone involved to forgive and release each other, forgive and release themselves for the highest good. Please and thank you. Please and thank you. Notice how that feels, make your smaller and different. This is for everyone. What do you got now? Yeah, okay. So you went from a 9 to a 1, or you went to a 9 to a 3, and then it moved over, so the new layer came up, and then we worked on this all the time. So as we witness and notice sensation in the body, shining our light of awareness, and then we supercharge it. We call in God Creator, capital G, capital C. I mean, light evaporates shadow. Okay. How's it feel to move forward now? Okay, good. Thank you for bringing that in. Who else noticed the shift while we were working? Yeah. So you might notice one a little later today. I think that's appropriate for you. So maybe you may not have heard that. Okay. Who has questions? Because we're at 2 o'clock. So that was a very small, it wasn't small. That wasn't small, was it? I was almost going to say that was a small example of, but that was big. Yeah. And you can carry this for, yeah. Okay. So that was one example of how this work can help people. I feel like with 7 billion people on the planet, there needs to be more than just a couple of us doing this work. So that is, again, part of my motivation, my heart, to bring these events together, to present different modalities to our community, where you don't have to spend hundreds and thousands of dollars trying all these different things. You can interview the practitioners out there, because there may be different practitioners that are right for you, and there may be some that it's not yet, or you may have already resolved some things. So to bring everyone together in a room, where you can walk around and see, this person, yes, this feels right. Also, we're getting back to here. Okay, so all of this work is designed to point us back home, to our own inner knowing. There's all that programming out there that's going to tell you what they want you to do, and that's fine. In our immersive experience, it's like, what feels right to you? Are you talking to this person and you're leaning in and you feel like, I have to get some answers here on my health? Or are you leaning away? These are little tools and tricks that you can take forward into life, because it's really great to be here and be immersed. This work, like some of the, like a lot of the work out there, will continue for you after you. This is not just, this isn't the party trick. This is getting to the root of what's going on. Because our ancestors had bombs dropped on them, and were dropping bombs. And the physics of that is, I don't think that they had the chance to really sit there and go, oh, I really need to breathe through this experience and presence through what's going on in my body so that I don't carry it forward to the next generation. Are you kidding me? They were trying to survive, they were trying to stay alive, they were trying to choose which child they had to feed often, which child that they could afford to feed. Could they afford to feed their kids and themselves? Were they being displaced from their homes? There's a lot that went on this time. It's time that we clean it up. So for those of you who are ready to clean it up for ourselves and future generations, this work is for you. Our website is up here. There's a ton of free resources on there. Thank you for being a part of this today.